All right there, gamers. So we're going to be showing you a couple of builds on the schooner for those of you who are trying to figure out what to do since this big buff. Now, we put out a basic build with the Reaper build with the Dardanelles guns that has now changed some since that release, and I'm going to show you what we got here, and I'm going to explain why and show you why we've changed that. So the first build I'm going to show you here is pretty similar to what we were originally using. It's got a few basic changes on it. So when we go to weapons here, we're still running Divine Thunder, and there's nothing changed on that particular weapon from the original build. Now we went ahead, we rolled it up, and basically we put firepower increase 8.4%, and then 2 amplified electrics on there is where we're at with that. Now Dardanelle, or we replaced the Dardanelle's gun with a Bombard 5, and I'm going to show you exactly why. Let's go ahead and let's put a Bombard on this check here so you can see it side by side. So here's the Bombard 5, damage output 7180. Now it does have a little bit longer reload time than the Dardanelles, but you're looking at almost double, not quite, but almost double the damage output. A Dard can do 4899, Bombard 5 can do 7180. Now the way this was rolled up, we had that siege perk on there, some severity. We were putting out 3266 with additional 2073 explosive damage with the Dard. And then over here with this Bombard 5 build that we're running, we're putting out again 7180 base. We've got shock on there twice. We've added siege and second storm. We're putting out a 4556 base damage, which is pretty nice, with a 1735 explosive with an additional 1596 electric, weak point damage of 150%. Great stuff. Now with the Dard, you're going to be hitting those walls for about 22,000, which isn't real heavy considering we used to get 39 to almost 42 on there. Now using the Bombard 5, we're actually hitting for 40 to 42,000. Now when the Fury perk actually activates on your schooner, which doesn't happen as often as it used to, but when it does activate, you can be putting out around 68,000 off of one Bombard shot. Granted, you're getting 4 shots, so multiply that by 4. When Fury kicks up, without Fury, you're looking at about 40 to 42,000. We'll put a clip of that at the end of the video for you guys so you can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this back over to that Bombard 5. That is what I'm running on the sides, the broadsides here. Then on the rear, same thing, Bombard 5. And you can build those how you want. I'm just showing you how I build those things out. You can use these. They're great for PvE. You can run it in PvP if you wanted to, but I don't bother with PvP right now. That's something that as the game expands and stuff, they may get the poison crap balanced. We'll just have to wait and see. But I have having on the center auxiliary port rolled out with burn, amplified explosive, and some soul mending on there again. Now, armor, I am running to Ouroboros, nothing fancy. If I have a group and there is a healer in that group, I switch this over to the Buccaneer's Oath. All right, but when I don't have a healer and I'm running Mega Forts and things like that solo, I go ahead and I put an Ouroboros on there just so I don't have to return to port and heal. It comes in handy. Now, furniture-wise, I'm using Charge Stores, Ramrod Workshop, Bombard Monosaur. You can actually drop that. I think it's from the Soleil Real right now. You can get, or you can get the blueprint as I just build it. But then Vata Volatiles, this is going to help give it an extra 15% structure damage. You can change it out if you want to. You don't have to use that. I threw it on here because I like to get that extra 50% because I do a ton of forts because I'm grinding out 8s on my past stuff. So breach lock furnace as well. This is going to increase those secondary damages, which would be like your electricity and stuff off those bombards on the side. And then of course the Bombard works, which is going to add another 19% of secondary damage. You can run whatever you want to. That's just what I'm running on my ship right now. So that is my Reaper build. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you another build that I've got going here, and it works pretty nice. Now you can use this to farm Megafort Houston in Tier 1, mind you. Don't take it to Tier 2 and jump on a Megafort because you're going to have some issues with the walls, unfortunately. But here in Tier 1, keep in mind the nerfs and the buffs that they did are different from Tier 1 to Tier 2. So the nerfs that they did on the Bombards around the clock, around the world there, are going to be considerably more in Tier 2. You get about 36,000 damage with about a 58,000 with a Fury in tier 2 using that other build. Now this one here, I went ahead and I wanted something that's great for crowd control to really help out with just dealing with ships. If you watch live streaming where we farm in World Tier 2 and how you want to focus on the DMC snows down in the Southern Pass area here, we're going to show you that real quick right in this area here, and just busting those DMC snows open and taking those ascended weapons so you can get ascension modules and of course your upgrade parts. It saves you time from having to farm these mini bosses that now take forever because they have added intimidating presence on just about every single one of these guys. When you pop up intimidating presence, now you are a higher level ship with higher level weapons, so the fact that they have an intimidating presence perk that's affecting you just for showing up in the area is a little overkill, I think. And all that's doing is essentially is lowering the damage output of your weapons to make it take longer to drop them. They're trying to slow you down on the farming because a lot of guys are getting the helm completed. As you can see, we've been really just hammering in on this, started putting in some 5s. We got some 5s over here running in, so we got 5 there. Here's another one over here. Then we got 4 more over here, so we've got 10 so far. We're slowly bringing these up. All of my auto collectors I'm going to bring to 5s first, and then I'm going to take and finish off. So I got 3 more areas, this one here and these 2 here. Okay, back to the ship. Sorry, guys. So weaponry, Zama 3 on the front. Now this is a great weapon to have. It's going to charge up your crew attack, but it also really charges up that blaze effect very quick. Okay, you have that Raider perk which helps to charge the vulnerable effect by 50%, and it also, the burning 2 is really going to help charge that burning damage up. And then we added firepower 10.6, amplified burning 31.5, and then we went ahead and added the long arm perk. So if you're shooting at a distance, now these are only 250 meters in range, so 70% of that, which most of your shots are going to be either real close or within that range, you're going to get another 46% more damage. Now same thing, I'm running Ouroboros armor on this. I would run the Buccaneer's Oath if I'm running with a team and we have a dedicated healer there. Then of course on the sides I'm running the Klein Cartois, and these have the Eminent Bang, Combustion 3. We've got Incendiary on there, Amplified Explosives twice on this thing, and they do just a great job of slamming the crap out of some stuff. Now, one of the cool things about this perk is the furniture. We're going to explain it. The Zama 3 is charging the ablaze effect with that fire burning, and the furnitures I've got it maxed out with, it actually charges up your shell shocked, which is anything with explosive rounds, be like this, it adds to that. Now you got to be careful on what you're shooting. If you start shooting a ship with adaptive armor that heals off of shell shock, you're going to be in a world of hurt with this thing. So like I say, you got to be careful when you're running the Mega Fort Tier 2 with this thing, because you're going to end up healing a lot of ships when they start bringing those more advanced ships in. Make sure you pay attention to what's coming into zone there. Same thing with this client here as well. And then on the rear we are running a Divine Wind. I may swap this out. I'll probably swap this out with a Bombard 5, but I've just been kind of using it because I waited so long for these to come in, and I just hate to let them sit in the warehouse. Then of course Warhammer 3, we have those Shock Amplified Electric twice on there as well. So does a great job as far as farming. This is great ship-to-ship stuff if you're looking to help out with that. But like I say, you can take it over to World to Tier 1 and hit the Mega Fort with it. We've got some siege perks on those side cannons. You're going to have to take about 3 or 4 shots to take some of that stuff out, because you can't get aimed up toward the top of those high walls. Now, if you're going against forts with small walls, shorter walls, you can dust those things out pretty quick if you're out running stuff for your helm. So that's currently what I'm using, and I'm going to throw in a bonus build here for the folks who like the sambuck. Now the sambuck hasn't changed a whole lot. I guess we should have showed those furnitures for you though on this. Yeah, so breech lock furnace, running this ramrod workshop, then a fusing station. Bark of the Wolf, so this triggers a blaze, and then it increased the shell shock charge by 50% for 7 seconds. Now that used to be 100%. They nerfed that furniture, but at least it's working now. So it wasn't working before, so I did go ahead and throw that back on here. The volatile fuel is going to help charge that ablaze effect as well. And then, of course, fat and volatiles is going to increase the damage to structures yet again. And that ship automatically has a natural siege perk for any cannon you put on a broadside. So, okay. And the final build, guys, this is going to be for the Nero Sambuck. Neroos. Okay, let's see. Manage ship. Now, trying to roll these Phoenix Talons out could be a pain, man. So what I've ended up managing is I've managed to get 18 strike. You have provoking, burning 2 on there. Then we added the incendiary, amplified, burning, and then I ended up with the death blow. And then the other ones again went with burning, dire burning, and then ended up with a couple soul mendings. And then of course we have combustion, amplified, explosive, and then soul mending again. Now, what I would have really liked to have was some more burning perks on there, but this thing does such a great job of just really knocking stuff out anyway, and I don't mind having the explosive on there because now I'm getting shell shock with this thing, so that's pretty nice. Bombard, fire bombard 3 is off the rear. Got the shock perk, the amplified burning, and of course second storm on there, and then we're running another Warhammer, same build as the other one. So great stuff on those. Now when it comes to furniture, you're going to see some similars and some different. So we have the double concoction, which is increasing secondary damage of burning weapons by 12%, increases maximum range of burning weapons by 8%. Scrapper station restores 8,000 whole health. You do get those pretty nice. Sometimes I change it out. It seems like we're getting pretty good, decent crew attacks. This works really good with the Zamos, by the way. Ramrod Workshop increases reload time of broadside weapons, or decreases, I should say. Then that gunpowder bench as well, which is increasing the damage to enemy ships with the ablaze effect because you're constantly triggering that thing out. Then, of course, we have the sticky fuel station, which increases the duration of the blaze effect. And then we have the volatile fuel, increasing the charge rate of a blaze again. So this thing is great. Now, like I said, when you go into tier 2, if you got healers in your group, it's great to use for crowd control and fort takeovers. Wouldn't take it against fort walls too well. You can do damage and eventually chew through them, but it's not really a ship for taking out fort walls. I typically use this just to run my takeovers, or not my takeovers, my defenses. Now we're talking Spectre defense and regular manufacturer defense, and you can grab those quick. I think it's 450 to 900 pieces of 8 you get from those things, and I always love to load it in. It's just nice to be able to come back into this Sambuck. It carried me all the way through season 1, and even into the first part here of season year 2. Year 1 was a great year for it. The Talons and stuff, they really added to it, and we may roll out, see if we can finally roll out the Talons the way we want them. We've rolled those till there's no rolls left on them, so I haven't decided if I want to go any more with that or not. And Ben says the Sambuck for tier 2 is kind of, if you're in a group you got a healer, not too bad, but if you're out selling by yourself, you could throw some Ouroboros on there. But man, let me tell you, it's a rough world, rough sea out there. Now you can run the normal ships, your DMCs, and go farming in this thing in that territory I showed you at the beginning of the video, and you can really have a lot of fun with it. But when you start coming into bosses and stuff, they've just amplified everything in World Tier 2. They call it balancing. Everything is so out of balance right now, it's not even funny. When you're farming forts, not just in World Tier 2, but World Tier 1, you need to be aware that you will have random spawning. Okay, they will randomly spawn the enemy in right behind you, and it's always a level 17 to a level 20 sharpshooter to one single shot you. So with the Ouroboros armor, that allows you a chance to load back in, destroy it, and heal. Now, if you're in one of those ships and you don't have a ability to heal your severe damage, once you've been destroyed 3 to 4 times, you're done. You have to go back to port. So that's why it's important to use an Ouroboros armor. That way you're not getting sent back to port in those events. So hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. It's what I'm currently running. I'm going to try to throw that weapon video demonstration on there for the Bombard 5. And, hey, if you use it, cool. If not, that's fine. I just put these builds out there to try and help folks out. And, when it comes to running your helm, I did want to touch on some of that a little bit in another video, so I'll probably put that out as the weekend gets closer. So we'll catch you guys later.